Once again, Utah is setting the standard for the nation when it comes to laws governing patient care and protecting the dentists that serve the public. Everybody keeps hearing the same thing. You signed a contract. There's nothing your dental association can do. This is what dentists have been told for years from their associations, everybody else. My practice, my business, we have proven that statement so wrong in so many directions. I'm really excited to have my sweetheart Tracy here because she's actually the power play behind everything. Say hi, hon.
Hi, I am so excited to talk today.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. And, well, without getting into it, we're going to begin our podcast right there.
Welcome, all of you fantastic dental podcast listeners, to the My Practice, My Business Dental Podcast Show, where we help dentists profit and thrive with excerpts from the clinical business of dentistry training here at My Practice, My Business. We'll be addressing and answering questions with current trends dentists and their teams face each and every day in their pursuit of this wonderful career we call dentistry. And now the host of our show, the clinical director and president at My Practice, My Business, Dr. Rob Thorup.
I hope all of you out there that are listening out of the state of Utah, I hope you're paying attention to what we're accomplishing here in the state of Utah, because we really need you to take the laws that we're doing and actually have your state associations jump on these laws. If you don't, then you're in trouble. And there's just this fragmentation in the American Dental Association and with the state dental associations. Hats off to Tennessee for copying our House Bill 359. Way to go. You guys scored. But where is the sharing of state legislative accomplishments from the ADA? Where's the training of laws by state dental associations? And, why is it that Utah is more proactive in these? Well, I'll tell you why Utah is more proactive, because you and I are here.
We do not stop, do we?
Our UDA executive in Utah, he's got his hands full with other stuff going on. And I know that he's grateful that we do what we do here. And there needs to be other people like Tracy and I in other states, or the executives just need to get going. You guys know in 2021, 2022, we passed, we were the driving force behind the network leasing, downcoding, and bundling protections law. And, what has it done for Utah dentists who apply the law? Simple. Increased net revenue. How many dentists know about the law? Here and even in Utah, not as many as should. And how many of them know how to apply the law? Even fewer. But the ones that do, there's probably, what percentage of Utah dentists, do you think know and apply the law? About 30%?
I would say roughly 30%. You're right.
Yeah. And that's a major problem. So, and we're doing our best. I mean, at least it's not 10% like it was a couple years ago, but at least it's happening now, and that's a good sign. Getting better and better. Well, mostly because we've trained probably 10% of the dentists in the state of Utah have run through our business program. I mean, we can only train so many. I get it. We only have so big of a bandwidth, but we could be training more if they actually ran and jumped on what we do. Okay, so this is kind of some cool stuff, but now let's jump to this year, the 2025 legislation, and what we're working on that we started in 24, and it's House Bill 495. And honey, take it away.
All right. Well, we have some cool things in this law. Some of them are just minor adjustments that we need to make to existing laws to make them more strong, but they are all worth talking about. So ultimately, we had a small timely filing issue where one of the insurance companies was trying to pull it back to 3 months, and that just didn't give us enough time to submit claims. Last year, we were able to get it to 4 months, and ultimately, we got it to the 6 months as well. So 6 months to submit the claims with 12 months for special circumstances. So now that that's out of the way, let's move forward here to some other cool stuff.
Yeah, that was like That was probably the easiest thing
That
I
one was
saw you do.
Very easy. Exactly.
Well, it just
exactly.
got messed up, and Representative Dunnigan, who I hope everybody in Utah supports like crazy, because he's really doing the heavy lifting for us on this stuff. That he was shocked that it got switched back to what? 4 months. 4 months, yeah.
So it's back up to 6 months now, which gives us some more time.
And 12 months with extenuating circumstances?
From what I understand, correct. And so that's going to be really nice because in the past, we have had that 3-month period with no exceptions, and it gets very frustrating. Now, the cool part is we already had the ability to opt out of virtual credit card payments from third-party payers. The problem was we didn't have anything about automatic re-enrollment in our state. And so these offices would call us up saying, this is ridiculous. I'm in network with 20 insurance companies. I'm opting out of virtual credit cards just to get automatically re-enrolled after a certain amount of time. And it's bandwidth. Ultimately, you're making all these phone calls. You're having to opt out one at a time. And then just a couple months later, or if somebody accidentally puts in a credit card, you're automatically re-enrolled. You have to start the process all over again. So we actually copied Arizona's law, which states that once you opt out of these virtual credit card payments, you are automatically opted out and you cannot get opted back in unless you state that you want to do so.
And here's the cool thing. We copied another state's law, which makes it way faster to be able to get it passed in your state, whatever you might be doing. So that's why stuff that we're passing here in Utah, if you bring it to your state association, they can pass it way faster.
Because it's been proven and there haven't been any issues. And for me, I ultimately look at this as bandwidth. You don't want to be paying team members to just be on the phone to opt out of these virtual credit cards when they could be doing other things that are more productive to help the patients.
Well, now here's the one that I'm scanning over the actual final. This is the most updated one you sent me, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So this is a killer one. We should have saved this one for the end, but billing for denied services. I mean, go to town.
Oh, this is my favorite one.
Does not. Let's see. Oh, let me read exactly. We've been battling this back and forth with some of the major insurance players have been pushing back on this, but you gotta read at the top. An insurer may not maintain a dental plan that does not allow a dental provider to bill the patient for a service when the insurer denies a claim for the service, unless under generally accepted practice standards, the service performed should not be billed. Or
no, that's another section. So let's stop there.
Yeah, exactly, because we're having them knock that section out, right?
Exactly. So
here's where that's where it's going to end. It's not. I'm not even going to read to you what insurance company wanted that.
Nah.
We can't say.
No, I'm not going to say what insurance company didn't want that.
I wish I could say it.
I'm not going to say.
But you know what? They put in a bunch of crap in there.
Scientific community.
Yeah.
And they were trying to
all
do
kinds
that.
of crap to be able to force us to write stuff off. And because in House Bill 359, not this House bill is
495.
And so House Bill 359, they came back and used the term under generally accepted practice standards. And that was great because they thought they were the ones that got to determine what generally accepted practice standards were.
That's not the case.
No. The licensed dentist determines what generally accepted practice standards are. So this is a power play. Trace, explain to him why this is a power play. Give him a couple examples.
So ultimately, going back just a little bit, a majority of the states do have a non-covered law, which states that if a service is not covered, the insurance companies cannot regulate the fee or force write-offs. And we see that with bundling, where they will not state that the service is not covered. They'll just say, oh, it's included. The key question is it covered? Because if it is not covered under the plan, a majority of the time, states have laws that will prohibit the provider or the insurer from forcing write-offs or discounted rates for non-covered services. Obviously, the exceptions being, the ERISAs, the federals, and all those things. Now, the insurance companies because of course they need to try to protect their bottom line, are going to try and find ways around it, which is why they changed it to, oh, it is covered only under certain circumstances. So if it's combined with this other service on the same day, then it's not billable to the patient. And that's why we went forward with our bundling law. It states that the insurance companies are allowed to bundle services in order to protect their bottom line. But when they bundle those covered services, the patient needs to pay. And that's where the patient holds them accountable, hopefully. Now, we're noticing that insurance companies are changing their limitations as to why they're not covering services. So,
and not covering and
not allowing us to bill for that service.
That's the problem.
This is the huge deal.
There.
So a really, I mean, we're getting phone calls from all over the nation, and some of the big ones that just absolutely, I have no words for, would be scaling route planning. And what are the requirements for a scaling route planning?
Or periodontal disease therapy.
Yes.
I hate scaling route planning. Honestly, at some point in time, ADA, we got to change the name of that. We're changing the name of it at My Practice, My Business to periodontal disease therapy. Okay. Anyway,
That's true.
What a concept. So the standards in the nation have always been, and the research has always proven this correct, that three things have to happen to have periodontal disease. One, pockets have to be 4 millimeters or greater. 2, bleeding on probing. 3, radiographic bone destruction. In our training, we cite so many sources that show that when you capture periodontal disease in its beginning to moderate phases, the ability to eliminate the infection, thus eliminating periodontal disease. What is periodontal disease caused by? Infection. Just keep it simple, people. You knock out the infection, boom, patient's back to full health. And we can get into all the genetic markers and makeup of periodontal disease and talk about 55 different classifications. We just keep it simple. We treat it like medical would treat it, and we go after it. But here's the killer. The insurance companies are waiting, saying that you can't treat periodontal disease until it gets to 6 millimeters. It gets to 6 millimeters. If you wait for that, that's medical malpractice.
So now you're given two options when they change those requirements, because they're saying you either wait until it gets to 6 millimeters for a partial payment by the insurance company, or you do it for free because it's a write-off. And that's where that just can't happen. So the great news with this one is, again, they can deny payment for any reason whatsoever. That's a plan that the patient paid for. But when they're putting us in a position where we either do free work or we face a lawsuit, now we have a problem. And this is what the goal of this law is.
Even build-ups. I mean,
exactly.
We've all seen that out there, that they have
50% of the tooth structure missing.
Yeah. I mean, ideally, I want to have retentive 6-degree taper walls all the way around as tall as they can possibly be. And, if we're not being paid for a buildup, we have to do it for free. As so many dentists nationwide, they're not doing the buildup. They're just saying, okay, fine. Well, if it falls off, it's on your insurance company. Don't blame me.
Well, and this is a huge deal because if you really think about it, Utah is second to lowest, if not the lowest reimbursed in the nation, right?
Right now, yeah. We're trying to get that number one position.
I know, we try so hard.
We don't like being number 2.
But then on top of it, if we're in a situation where we have to be forced to write off services rendered in addition to our low reimbursement rates, it's impossible to run a business.
No, profitability, we're already upside down on profitability in the state of Utah. Put simply, the cheapest implant attachment and knockoff attachment and crown, Utah dentists can make a sliver profitability there, and 3-unit or more unit bridges with more Ponix, we can make money there. Every other procedure in the state of Utah that dentists do are in the red. And that's why they have their hygienists working at Mach 2, breaking their backs, seeing 50 million patients a day, because that's how they try to offset lost profitability by procedure. Something we train on is procedural profitability, and we're able to obtain procedural profitability when you know the contracts. The insurance contracts, when you know your state laws and how to present to your patient. What a
And
concept.
when you pass new state laws to protect your practice.
Yeah, then you can actually increase net revenue.
So some of you in other states, you might be, going, well, we're fairly highly compensated by these insurance companies, so we're okay. We don't really need to focus on this. But all the states that we currently train and have trained in the past, they've said, well, what good is it having a high reimbursement rate if we can't bill for those codes?
Oh my gosh. I see that you get hit at all angles and you don't even know you are, because how you evaluate your fee for service fees, let alone your contract fees in your practice, you're doing it based upon non-business principles, things that we were never taught in dental school. So that's a good point, Trace. So the next one
Okay.
Yeah.
Overpayments. So
this one really ticks me off.
This one is a difficult thing, especially from an accounting and HIPAA perspective. These insurance companies are overpaying for certain services that, as far as they say, right? but ultimately, they deem that they're overpaid for a service. Now, most insurance companies will do the right thing. They'll reach out to an office and say, "Hey, our notes indicate that we overpaid. We need to get a refund check." That's fine. This is great. We've done that before, and as long as we have a little bit of time to put things together, I can now document, if it's for a Joe, I can document that we can debit the account back, the money that we refunded back the insurance company. I can reference to a specific EOB with Joe's name on it, and accounting wise, we're looking good. The problem is these insurance companies, and there are two of them currently that are actively doing this, they're automatically recouping these overpayments from other patients outside of the family.
From Jill?
Oh, yeah.
Use Joe.
Joe and, yeah, they're taking from Jill.
You could use Jack and Jill.
You could say Jack and Jill.
I thought you were going to use Karen and Ken.
That's a good point, too.
Oh, that's for another time. Okay. Anyway,
sorry. So here's where it becomes a problem, because I have to document these debits and credits on both accounts.
Accounting nightmare, which all of you know.
Not only that, I need to reference to an EOB, which mentions another patient's name on it when I do this. So this just does not work. Yeah. So ultimately, this part of the law states that the insurance company cannot automatically recoup an overpayment unless the recoupment occurs more than 90 days or 60 days from the day the insurer sends a notice of overpayment. And so initially, it was 60 days from the overpayment date, but we all know that usually it's a few months later that they ask for that money back. And so the law is simply stating that the insurance companies need to give us a letter stating that they overpaid and requesting that payment. From there, we have 60 days to give them a refund check. And then if not, they will then be able to automatically recoup that overpayment.
That's so nice.
And it makes sense, doesn't it?
It just frustrates me from an accounting position, and it's their mistake.
Yeah.
They're the ones that made the mistake, and 60 days gives them enough sample time to pay it back. So,
and again, it makes sense law. It makes absolute sense that we should be doing it that way.
Now, for the state of Utah, some of you guys in other states, you need to check your laws on this too, because we realize that every dentist in the state of Utah that was giving out fluoride, medicated mouth rinse, if you're even giving a few ibuprofen for the patient to take with them, you're breaking the law, right?
That's correct.
So the next one was on dispensing.
So we've added dentists to the list of dispensing providers, given...
We were the only medical professional in the state of Utah left off dispensing.
Which puts us at risk, and Department of Occupational and Professional Licensing, which is our oversight kind of area, when they go into offices and see that they're selling or dispensing these medications, there's a risk of a $10,000 fine. And who wants to assume that risk?
Don't give them Prevident to take home.
No.
And everybody can say, well, I could just write them a script. Let me help you understand the power play. By the way, if you're placing antibiotics in the sulcus, you're administering, but also sometimes some, pharmacists that want to cause problems can say, no, you're dispensing.
No, you're not.
So
So it has to be dispensing according to Utah is packaging by a manufacturer in order for to resell back to the patient. So you're not dispensing, you're administering.
Now, check it out. Let's say that you're in an area that doesn't have fluoride in the water and you want to get mom going on, the little pink pill of fluoride. And they come in prepackaged dosing packs, and you send it home because sometimes you'll give mom a script. She'll lose the script and think, it's all right. It's no big deal. Fluoride causes, third eyes to grow and ears to grow on top of heads and all the other crap's going on in the nation right now that the
true.
ADA and our associations are fighting. So it's like if you can get them started on it and then they get going on it, my goodness, if you give them a 30-day pack, and that's what you're able to do. You're able to, now in the state of Utah, give up to a 30-day dose.
That's correct. And if the patient needs to get another refill, you can write them a script, or they will have to have an exam if you were to physically dispense those medications.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people are anti-chlorhexidine. I am too, pretty much. When it comes to gingivitis, chlorhexidine can really give a jump on it, and I'd rather give that to the patient right out the chute. Sometimes, there's other mouth rinses out there that people are using, but, anything that requires a prescription, you have you've been breaking the law if you've been giving it to your patient. So anyway, it's kind of fun stuff. So that's pretty much our update.
I think this law is just jam-packed with all of the different things to just fine-tune, and we're going to continue to do so over time, obviously, but I'm excited.
Yeah. That billing for denied services, that's the power play that I love the most.
Yeah. And here's the thing. If the insurance company or the patient ever feels or decides or tries to determine on their end that something was billed that should not have been done, then that's where oversight does happen. There needs to be accountability if those doctors are indeed doing this, but it should not be the insurance companies. And that's our big push, is they're not the power to regulate whether or not a service should or should not be done. That should be a different entity.
Now, my friends out there in podcast land, if for some reason you have not been able to wrap your arms around our tuition and how we get paid and signing up for our business training and how much more money you make every single month, I at least come to some of our courses and learn about the laws, learn how to apply the laws. That's one thing that we teach that we don't even account for in the percentage that people pay us back until
Correct.
Our tuition is paid. The stuff that we teach you on the laws is just icing on the cake. We teach you how to increase net revenue by somewhere between $7,000 and $15,000 a month on all practices, from basic practices all the way up to fast moving practices. We don't take a percentage of that. That's just our way to over deliver on the quality of education that we give to you. I hope that you'll come train with us. I hope that you will say enough's enough. Talk to people who've gone through training with us. Ask them if they would do it again. And all of you who have trained with us, Tracy and I want to just give a big thank you, because we set aside a percentage of the tuition that we receive. We set that aside to be able to pass these laws and protect dentists in the state of Utah. And all of you that are training outside of Utah, thanks for contributing to our laws, because they hopefully are helping your laws.
Yes, absolutely.
Which they are.
That's the push right now. And I want all of you out there to realize that if you see a problem, please don't depend on other people to fix it for you. Be a voice. Go to the right people. Go to legislation. Try to make these changes. Copy other state laws. There are things that you can do, but that's going to require you being proactive and actually doing something.
So all of you out there in dental land, especially in the state of Utah, stop being a freeloader if you're not a member of the Utah Dental Association, American Dental Association.
And if you are in Utah, February 28th, we do have Lobby Day. That is first thing in the morning, 8 a.m. But this is your chance to go to your appropriate representative and tell them to vote yes on this
What time
law.
does it start at? We're going to be up there.
Well, they want
day.
everybody to be there right at 8 o'clock.
8 a.m. So get there early so you get a good parking spot. And Tracy and I will be up there in the state capitol.
I'll say something for like 10 minutes.
Yep. Tracy's actually speaking right there in the Capitol Rotunda, I think it is, right in the center of the place.
Mm-hmm.
And come find us. We'd love to see your faces and smiling and going and meeting your senators and representatives and letting them know how important that this law is to the practice of dentistry and the patients you serve. And nobody has a bigger axe to grind than I do with the ADA. Well, maybe there's a few people out there I can now think of might have a bigger axe to grind, but I'm still a member. And in Utah, it's a great team tag with our executive director, Val Radmal, and us. We couldn't do what we do as quickly as we do it without him giving it the blessing to the state representative. And the UDA couldn't do what they do on this stuff without us, because Tracy and I are the ones that are writing this stuff up in the beginning stages, fighting the battles, and making this stuff happen. It's a great team effort, and that's what you need to be with your state associations, a team effort. But do hold that executive accountable, and hold your leaders accountable in your states. Tell them it's serving is more than just getting a plaque on the wall and bragging rights. Serving is actually getting in the trenches with what we do. Anything you want to add to that?
I think you said it perfectly. And thank you all for listening.
Hey, we appreciate y'all being here, and hope you have a fantastic day.
Thank you for being with us today. Since 2006, My Practice, My Business has been teaching dentists and their teams business skills, dental insurance contractual protocols, and state laws governing how to profitably bill patients fairly for the need-based services they provide. What's more, we guarantee our training, unlike other dental consulting companies in the industry. Simply stated, if you don't increase your net revenue, we don't get paid. We call it dental consulting the way it should be. We believe there has never been a more important time than now for dentists to experience and implement our key methods, knowledge, and business training within their dental practices. To learn more about our guaranteed, no-risk clinical business of dentistry training that is changing dental practices for the better, just go to our website, mypracticemybusiness.com, and surf our pages for additional information about our company and the services we provide. When you're ready, give us a call and get scheduled for the most profitable dental business training that you will ever experience. If you enjoyed our podcast, please leave us a 5-star review. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to call us. Thank you again and have a fantastic day.